Hello, this is Simply as for Venturing, and I'm coming to you here from the Lancaster Convention Center, the temporary entrance of the future home of the Thaddeus Stevens and Lydia Hamilton Smith Center for History and Democracy. Here, I was here back in April when they did the initial groundbreaking ceremony. And we're going to come and check out the update and the sneak peek here on the extra give here. So let's go inside and see what the updates are. So as you can see, this is the information of Lancaster history. There was the former Lancaster County Historical Society, now the Lancaster History, down on Buchanan Avenue. There's other stuff I've attended also there at the Lancaster History. I've been to this part right there not too long back then as well for another exhibition, museum exhibition. But right here, this is where we're at. It's dark outside, so it's kind of hard to see the building. We're on the other side of, but this is what we're going to see. We're going to go inside. We're going to come in from the Vine Street side of the center, and this was the actual building where Thaddeus Stevens practiced law here at. So let's go inside. So we're gonna look inside and see the updates. So this is, I think, this is gonna be the actual entrance that I was trying to show you from the outside.
But that door right there,
so right here,
is what will be this entrance. So it's that door, and you walk across here. So right below our feet is actually the cistern. So you're walking above it, and those little holes will actually be glass filled. So you can stand there and look right down at the cistern. So it's not hiding, even though we went over it this long way. But just to give you an idea, the visitation flow will come in.
So as you can see, they also have displays of what the center is going to look like, as she just explained. We are here in the lobby area where, if you can see that stairway, that's that stairway that's heading down to where the cistern is at.
Look around and see what's changed.
Amazing.
Grab a few.
I could use a tour. Oh, we could use a tour. Fill me with information.
Hello.
How you doing?
I remember you from the almost groundbreaking.
Yes, I was here for the that's why I was explaining to the viewers that I was here for the groundbreaking. Unfortunately, that footage is trapped in a hard drive that I can't get to right now. So, but hopefully I'll be able to get it out and show that footage to my viewers in the future as well.
Archaeologists to dig that out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so I'm supposed to be downstairs, but did you guys come in this way?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom and Robin will explain things in there for you, and then when you want to meander downstairs, I'll be down there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And I love the way we can get in here now. Isn't that nice?
I know, it is nice.
And then, you know, these are going to be glass openings, so the blades and the cistern down below. Oh,
Yeah.
just heard.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, I'll be downstairs.
All right. Yeah, enjoy.
So here's the table for the Lancaster history, which now I gotta just remind me I gotta renew my membership.
So you can start back there if you want.
There's a sticker. I'm gonna grab a sticker.
Get downstairs, you go around this
Well,
little
one sticker.
staircase hidden behind. So, yeah.
Hi. How are you?
There's a QR code for more information of the center. So right now it's self-guided, but they also have tour guides as well. So as you can see, hopefully I'll be able to show you some of the original footage that I took for the almost groundbreaking, as the gentleman said.
was it city council? That's true. Yeah. Everybody's so
So you're looking at a view of what this room is going to look like in the future right here. So they're showing a view here. So this is scheduled to open somewhere around April of 2025. And they're having some snacks and goodies. So there's a view of this, what this is going to look like in the future. A rendering. So right now we're facing the Queen Street side, and I believe this gentleman right here is the president of Lancaster History.
He may have been.
So I'm going to give you a view outside of what the building looks like from the outside as well. So I'm excited for this, to see what this is going to look like. Hello.
So this is Discover Lancaster.
Yes.
So learn about the history of Lancaster in the 19th century. This is a more general overview of Lancaster compared to the other rooms. But people will learn the reason, kind of why Thaddeus Stevens and the Lydia Hamilton Smith came here to Lancaster. So you have this paper here, a little bit more detail and some feedback on the back there. Give your opinion. And this is what it will look like.
Yeah, I was here for the almost groundbreaking, ceremony back in April, I guess it was. April or May.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, I see. The tile floor is covered up that was underneath this.
Yeah.
The original tile floor that I showed in my last video.
So this is the original beams.
Yeah.
A little bit more help with the steel plates there, but this will be what it will look like, hopefully. And this is also Christ Brewery before, so this is kind of like a very feel to it. So yeah, keep that same element.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Good seeing you.
Yep.
Just here the other day. They keep every day is a little bit more progress
Yes.
being made.
April is the scheduled opening for 2025, right?
We're now in January 2026.
January
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So it's January now. So they've made a lot of progress since. Oh, that's the so this is the loop outside, and there's a stairways that goes upstairs. But let's go downstairs and go check out. Oh, we can't go downstairs to the cistern right now.
You can go take the staircase that's around the purple wall.
Okay.
That's the city entrance. Yeah.
I know I was somewhere down before. So let's go downstairs and check out the cistern. So there's an elevator here that's they're working on. So let's go downstairs first and then upstairs.
Of course, he was a great abolitionist. He was really out to get people treated equally.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Alrighty.
Ezekiel Thompson, who was a black militiaman for Christianity, who was going to represent armed resistance against slavery. This is what was still the chronicler, the writer of the first book about the Underground Railroad in the 1870s, early 70s. Stephen Smith and William Whipper are famous people from Columbia, where we're working on stories over there.
I was going to ask you if you had any relations with
We're all going to hope to link together with information sharing and traffic sharing and going back and forth. Stephen Smith will be here representing philanthropy because he became so wealthy, and the legacy that he left benevolence, and he was an AME preacher. William Whipper will be depicting moral reform and his great writing skills and his attendance at speeches and conventions. We're trying to turn the tide against slavery in the 30s and 40s. And on the back of each one of these will be more people who are part of these same thematic packages. With pictures and stories from there. As you have to learn about these guys what they were doing to stop slavery. And chronology along this wall will tell you about the history of slavery going back to Africa and ancient times until present time. And then you go in here and you understand in this space that there was slavery in Pennsylvania. I'm still amazed that people don't understand how that dynamic works. So we'll help people understand that when we go into this space. I'm going to grab my liquid refreshment chair. Right this way. Oh, my
Yep.
So this is what this gallery will look like, we think, we hope. So you'll be walking along here and you see these are called leader rails. They're going to be in front of this masonry structure over here. You will be able to see the cooking fireplace in its open space like it is. What it meant to be a border community, 20-some miles from the Mason-Dixon line. Wow. And a video screen over here that tells you about the institution of slavery in the North as well as the South, as well as the other gradations of people who were living in either indentured servitude, which was kind of this netherworld between being a free person of color and being enslaved. So indentured servitude being you owed your time to somebody over a specific time and then you were free after that. So that all has to be explained because I missed it. So we do understand it. A lot of this stuff is not being taught in schools, so it's going to be a major information spreading,
Sure.
for what happened here. So so the cooking fireplace will be explained. These are and every room will have a panel along a rail somehow, maybe over there, I think. It will be called Layers of History. So every room will explain what this was originally before it was converted into the museum and what it became over time. So these are the earliest buildings on the site. This home was a story and a half, pretty small house. And then there was an alleyway, cartway between the next building over. And then the family who were German brewers by the name of family Kleiss, they lived here and they worked over here. They ran their beer operations, which we'll go over and see next, in the building next door. Okay. But when Stevens moved here and bought this property out of Sheriff's, he let the family stay here because he didn't want to kick them out. They lost all their money. They couldn't pay their bills. So he rented across the street and let them stay here until Mr. Kleiss died, the elderly man died. Then Stevens moves in. He puts his law office over between these two buildings, excavates that cartway to create a cellar, and then builds another story up above to create the upper floors. Hi, Gene. How are you?
You got this
The upside down, I was going to say that too.
Tour in progress?
It's in progress, it is indeed.
Line, or?
Oh, no, I just started down here. Hi, guys. How are you? Come on in.
Hey.
Danielle?
You made it out. Was it because of my email?
I happened to make it.
Welcome to see you. It's been a while.
Oh, did you?
So now it's upside, right side up.
Yeah, you got, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Lancaster, part-time. I work here. So I was involved with this guy early on,
How are you doing?
half a century ago. And we were involved in kind of stopping the demolition of this building back then, and Gene was the architect. Yeah, did the first phases.
Of course, you're involved
I
with
didn't
all
even
the
notice it.
important things, yeah.
Well, used to be. Used to be when they all looked impossible. Now that they're possible, they found out
We
people.
did it at Southern Market after.
Yes,
We
indeed.
had a meeting.
And I'm a retread.
We just
So
came.
here's a rendering for this room, which is supposed to look like. The fireplace and the masonry will all be in place, and there'll be information along the front of them. You'll see all that exposed. This gallery is going to explain slavery and freedom in the North, because a lot of people don't understand that there was slavery in the North, and then slavery across the country, and what it meant to be a border community as close to the Maryland line. So that's what's going on here. So this floor had to be raised up, so it was another level of, when Gene was involved here, that was the level of all the masonry that was installed, but we had a.
And this was lower, right?
This was lower, yeah.
Yeah. Is this where the fireplace is? Is that what that is?
No, the fireplace is right here.
Oh, okay.
It'll be,
Yeah.
like this.
You come in like that.
Yep,
All right, so the white posters on this wall right here, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Video screen right there. And that was an original window that went out to the cartway between the two buildings. Because Stevens, this was a 1.5-story house where the Clace family lived, and then their brewing operation was in the building next door. So we'll go over there now and see what that looks
So
like.
this would have been the main floor and then there's a basement.
Yeah, this would have been the basement, it would have been the main floor of the parlor. And then it had a
Oh,
above.
yeah, I remember.
So
Yeah.
the fireplace was in there. The
I just called you, Chuck. That's.
Oh, okay.
Did you see the parlor upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the two fireplaces up there.
bakery for me.
That's right.
That was the last time we.
That was back in the
That was a long
range of
time ago.
impossible too.
So back in the non-glorious days, this was a car repair operation in the garage. So here, that's why there's all the floor.
Yeah, I built we actually moved up, we moved to a 10-acre farm. And I built a wood burning pizza oven, so we have big pizza parties.
Perfect.
Good.
So the critical story of,
Keep busy.
of the Christianity resistance will be played here. It'll have its own gallery because of the national historic significance of that 1851 event. September 11th, 1851, these folks rebelled, black militia in Christiana rebelled against a slave owner coming and trying to capture 4 people who had escaped from his Maryland farm. And so it was a turning point, a flashpoint in the years leading up to the Civil War. It polarized the North and the South because the South thought they had this law on their side that they could send agents here to capture anybody they want with impunity, and take them back without any repercussions. But they tried that, but there was this black militia headed by William Parker and his wife, Eliza, and all the co-workers who were there, because they had been there for a generation or two, living and working alongside white farmers in southern areas of Pennsylvania, all along the border counties, until this fugitive slave law came into place, and then that really upset everything. So this event was a flashpoint, as I said. The man was killed, Edward Gorsuch. His son was badly wounded, and even he had a say in recuperate at the farmer's house next door, a white Quaker farmer. This is the son.
And Randy, Gorsuch was he a bounty hunter?
No, he was the owner of the farm from which 4 people had escaped a couple of years earlier, and they came here and they were working and living here with the Parker enclave.
So he was actually a slave owner, a farm owner.
But he was a Methodist, but he was considered to be, hi gentlemen, go on in.
I went over.
He was considered to be a kind of a supposed benevolent guy. He was a learned member, an elder in his church. He believed that he was taking care of these people well, and why would they want to leave? Well, they stole a couple of bags of flour and took off. And it took them 4 years before this law took place, so they could feel free to come up and snatch them back in the north. And then this confrontation happened at dawn or really early morning, September 11th, 1851, that infamous day. And then 38 people were arrested, including 3 or 4 white guys, and they were charged with treason under the capital offense laws of the United States. And that was September, and they were on trial by December in Independence Hall in Philadelphia, where the nation's capital was. And Thaddeus Stevens was one of 3 co-defendants who got them acquitted. They got 1 man acquitted, and then they realized that they couldn't get acquittals, they couldn't get convictions of the other people because of false and misleading testimony by one of the agents. I guess he was a federal marshal who came. He gave all kind of conflicting information about who was where and when. Because after this event, Marines were sent in here under the order of the president to capture anybody that they could. So they rounded up any black person in the whole area and took them in, whether they were there at the site or not. So it was a really interesting dynamic thing. So that polarized the whole atmosphere of the U.S. politics and social life in the years leading up to the Civil War. And the really scary linchpin of the whole story is young Thomas Gorsuch, 13, 14 years old, was the youngest son of Edward Gorsuch, and he wanted to go on this trip to capture these people and take them back. But it was September, so he was in private boarding school in Maryland. His dad said, it'll be dangerous, you gotta stay there. He stayed there, then he hears about his father being killed. His older brother is badly wounded, and won't see him for months. The entire law is being torn apart because nobody was held to account for this this killing and this capture. There's a small private boarding school, and one of the best friends of this young Thomas Gorsuch was John Wilkes Booth, age 14. And his biographer says that that's what radicalized Booth 14 years later. It's part of his radicalization process that came about to kill Lincoln 14 years later. Because he saw his young friend totally distraught. The system is unfair. This is so horrible. Why are they protecting these black people? And all that kind of stuff.
But they were operating under the free slave.
Yeah, federal law absolutely passed by Congress.
Certainly were in their interest.
Yeah.
As landowners.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the most valuable thing you owned, I hate to say it, was another person. Yeah. Okay, let's go this way. Jonathan, how are you? Okay, here's the famous Baker's Alley.
Came down with just Randy.
Between the two buildings. This is going to be actually not used, it's an emergency escape exit in case you get trapped out here. So you come in here. So after you learn all of this stuff, and you've seen all these pictures, and you got all this stuff in your brains, then you come through here into the darkened space.
Yeah, but they were accommodating what's already there.
Yeah, that's Baker's Alley. But it's an emergency escape hatch, basically.
He didn't let you go. He said, you're not allowed to.
You must have heard that. How many square feet total is the museum?
It's 5 levels, 25,000 square feet.
Oh my gosh.
Third floor is offices and back office kind of things and things like that. And then 2 levels above, 2 levels above the street and 1 level above, and then 2 down below. So when you come through here, you see these folks are coming through from the Christiana Gallery right there, coming down behind those panel walls. And notice all the light wiring and all of these the studs here. These are going to be a series of projection panels all over the place. So projection systems on the ceiling. And so it'll be an immersive soundscape of pictures, and all of the things that you saw and more will be blasted onto these screens in this darkened room, and beer kegs spattered around to give you an idea that this was the brewing operation for the Clace family. There was a chimney base right here that went all the way up to when it was a 1.5-story building, and we believe this is where they did the brewing and had the bubblies and the fires going on to that. And then this would have been the storage area. So after you learn about all this stuff, this is going to be your kind of contemplative cool-down area here after you've been blasted by all of this information. Has anybody been to the African American Museum of History and Culture in D.C.?
Yeah.
Did you see the waterfall room in the basement dedicated to John Hope Franklin, the great author in the 1960s of the seminal book Up From Slavery, I think it's called? So that's what we're trying to replicate here. This is going to be a place where you're going to come and see inspirational quotes on the walls, and it will be darkened and benches, and you can kind of just chill out here. Over here will be sculpture of some kind. We're not quite determined exactly what that's going to be, but it'll be a kind of a chill out area where you can just kind of gather your thoughts before you go into this next tumultuous room, which is also about the Civil War and Thaddeus Stevens prosecuting the war as the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, how he fought for equal pay for the black troops, the U.S. colored troops that were segregated units of the Army at the time on the Union side. So, I didn't say that, you may have heard this by some of you. Each of these rooms is going to have a panel that will be called Layers of History. It'll explain what the room you're in is all about, so you have a context of what this now it's a museum space, but then it was what was it back when the Clace family was brewing here? So we kind of, if there's no docent or guide taking you through, you're going to understand that. So we think of the earliest iteration. By the way, these 2 foundations were 1750s, 1760s. That's when the Clace family did their brewing here, and they lived in the building next door where the fireplace was. So you come through here, what we think happened was the chimney base was out there where the cooking took place early on. This would have been the cold storage area. So this vault right here, this arch, extended all the way to this room, and you see where it matched up over here.
Okay, yeah.
So this is where they kept the beer to keep it as cold as they possibly could. So, but then, they must have been pretty successful. We're kind of patching this together because there's no records that explain much detail at all that went on here, other than this guy was here at this time, this person was here at that time, and this one owned it. But how they did their business, who they employed is a big mystery, but we hope to find that out as we go along. After they expanded their business and got to be a little more successful, we think they punched a hole in here and then did their storage out there and their distribution out here while they turned this possibly into where they did the brewing, the burning of things, because these appear to be, this is Ken Huber, he's our on-station construction guy, and we're all trying to figure this whole stuff out. So I'm thinking at this point, Ken, these were flues for some type of possible burning that went on here, because we obviously have a record that in 1857 there was a major fire here in this brewing operation, and that when you can come in here sometimes you can smell the burning charcoal, and it seems to be flues that were adapted somehow, and then they did their distribution from here because the same arch configurations you can see on the two sides of the wall there. Ken, jump in if you want to add anything.
I'm learning a lot, Randy.
So, in
This
the
gallery
period
all along here. Let's do it this way. Come on in, a little farther.
legacies, because there's here as a
Yes,
archivist.
but here you can see those arches Randy was talking
Yeah.
about. There's not much left. When they built the convention center 15 years ago, they destroyed most of it. But you can see over there the beginning of the arch, and it went up over, and behind Randy you can see the end of the arch. This was all brick arch through here. Unfortunately, it got destroyed and they put concrete instead, but when they did the convention center. But this arch continued all the way over here.
Now, this wasn't there when we first came in here, like in 1999, 2001, something like that. This was all taken out at that time, pretty sure.
Yeah, the arches here were gone before the convention center.
Oh, were they actually?
Yeah, just
Don't blame the
speaking as an
convention center.
eyewitness, but you're right that they were here at some time, and they were altered, almost entirely removed. Sometime, we don't know.
We don't know.
And you can see that it's the brickwork of the arch that would have
So
gone
that's
right
so
over
Gene was
this
the
way
architect
and
here
over
near
to
the
that
years when we were
side.
working on
And there was a
years ago.
second arch that would have
Back when we were trying to
the other side
kind
over
of
here.
mitigate the impact of the convention center on this.
Okay, so over here will be a lot of Civil War stuff about the underground, the U.S. colored troops over here. And over here will be a large video screen, again, mostly Civil War, mostly social, political stories about Thaddeus Stevens and what he did as, again, the House Ways and Means Committee chair, who controlled the purse strings of the war, and was pushing Lincoln to do the things that we regard Lincoln as being the great hero that he was at that time period, because he was a middle-of-the-road guy, and Stevens was a radical Republican. And his cadre of people were really pushing the envelope to make Stevens do things he wasn't quite ready to do, but that's the way politics works, I guess. So big video screen here. And then, so one of the things that is kind of interesting to see is you can see here, you saw the cisterns on the other side of the wall coming in from above. Okay, so the archaeologists that we hired back in 2001, 2002 to look for anything in the backyard of the Stevens house before all this construction happened, were digging around. They found the cisterns that you see on the other side. Ruins of underground water holding tanks that were used before the early 1850s, before they got public water from the streets. They had to collect spring water and rainwater, both for the brewing operations here in this basement and for the domestic use of the house next door. We think the archtop one out there was used for the domestic use, but we're not quite sure. They were after the 1850s, after they no longer needed spring water, they filled them up with household trash from the hotel and operations, and probably the brewing operations. The archaeologists cracked that open and found all kinds of interesting stuff. James Dell and his wife, Mary Ann Levine. James Dell was from, at that time, Georgetown University. He's now at Millersville. And Mary Ann Levine is an archaeologist prophet, Franklin and Marshall. So they were hired here to excavate that and found this, and it really did galvanize the public interest. And our friend Bernie Harris over here was a New Era reporter at the time, and had some great stories about all this excavation and all these uncoverings of all these layers of history. And so it really did galvanize public opinion that we really do have something here, because the archaeological theory was that that was an emergency hiding place as part of the Underground Railroad. It's a hypothesis. There is no primary or secondary source evidence that verifies that or validates that or even leads you to believe that, but the circumstantial evidence sure does look like there was something going on there. See the penetrations, possible penetrations and disruptions in that wall right there? We don't know exactly where, but there may have been a permanent opening for several years during the 1850s. Yeah. And then somehow we were able to climb through there and then go between the two cisterns, and then the cistern to the left had a crude opening that was then later bricked up. And all of that together, including a spittoon that was found in the base, in the lower level of that cistern, that seemed to be positioned in a strategic area. Like if you had to be in there for several hours or overnight and you needed to go, it was a place you would have probably gone. So the archaeologists said this is like a really hard piece of circumstantial evidence. But again, it's what captivated people's imagination about what this possibly happened here. So we're going to explain the differentiation between the two of them and the fact that we don't know that that's what happened. And my hope is that when there's thousands of people coming through here years and years in the future, someone's going to have a letter found in somebody from New Jersey or Connecticut or something that they said when they came to Lancaster as a fugitive slave, they were told to go into this basement to get rid of the bad guys, get them off the trail. And that would be the holy grail to find that. And so it might shake out from up there in history heaven.
Can you orient us as to where we are with the street? Vine is here?
Street that way.
Okay, and above us the convention center?
Convention center up and above. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Wow.
it is a little
Look at the
confusing.
Vine Street sidewalks right there. Down now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Trying to draw a map.
Okay, so big video screen here.
Queen,
The cases over here.
at the end.
And then you come this way. And this is a big transition point in the storyline as you come through the museum.
The process of planning governance
Yes.
those years must have been
It does, yeah.
very intense, right?
Well, I mean, Gene was here 24 years ago, I was here, and some of this stuff was all laid in, and the mix it around.
Oh, so there's a cistern right here.
More rectangular.
So there, as you can see, the three holes with the where the glass will be, so you can look down into the cistern from the floor above. And there's the stairways coming down to the cistern.
Plus, a little bit about that story of what they could have been used for. So, when you come down here, this is going to be the grand gallery of 3 constitutional amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Freedom of abolishing slavery, equal protection under the law, which Stevens was most notable for, and the 15th Amendment that passed after he died, which gave black men the right to vote. So those 3 amendments are considered to be the second founding of America because they went from the high ideals printed on the papers in the 1780s, 1760s, and put them into animated form in activism and authority in the laws of the U.S. And we're still perfecting that, obviously, because the civil rights movement didn't happen until the mid 20th century, and that will be depicted after you see Reconstruction on this wall here, the aftermath of the Civil War. That wall in the back will be 20th century, and then come into the 21st century, those walls over there will be kind of interactive information and exhibits and videos that will kind of challenge you to look out in your own community, your own life, after you've learned all of this incredible backstory and information that you probably didn't understand or read and get in high school or elementary school. Stuff that'll be really new to a lot of people. It's going to the panel and the information will challenge you to kind of go into your own community and become a citizen and perfect these ideas as part of this big experiment. So I'd like to take you through there, but it's still a construction scene. But eventually you'll go through. Elevators are in that corner, and then stairwells back there, and you can then go upstairs. Did you get up to the second floor yet?
No.
Okay.
You can't look down on that now.
Oh yeah, well you will. There'll be 3 glass circular panels that you'll be able to walk over.
There will be.
There'll be lighting inside of there, and you'll be able to see glass as you walk over. Yep. And then you'll be able to access it by the staircase there. The staircase right there.
Wow. Too bad they couldn't leave that more open above.
Sounds like it's gonna work.
You never know. You never know. Yep. It's going to be
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
revelatory.
I get it.
Convention weren't on track.
Yep, indeed. Okay, any questions? So we invite you guys, hello Dave, we invite you to, there's fact sheets upstairs on that level that tell you about the galleries we just learned about, and information on the back if you have any questions that you'd like to interact with. There's a QR code, you can fill in some stuff online. Keep in touch or give us questions. Tell us what you'd like to see here that you don't think you'll see or you want to see. So we got to create the best place we can. Right this back way. I wish we could go through kind of get the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So the last time I was here,
And then trying to connect.
the last time I was here, I was able to go around. We were able to go around out that way to see where what's going on over there, where this construction is going on as well, toward the elevator. But right now it's cordoned off for construction purposes. Hey, how you doing, Pedro? All righty.
I'm trying to look at the path of least resistance through here, but I messed it up.
So that's Pedro Rivera, the president of Thaddeus Stevens College as well. Wow, so we only got a few more months before this will be open. It is November now, almost the end of November. So this will be supposedly ready by sometime in January. So we'll be back for the grand opening of this center. We got to come down to this part of the lower level. So when we were here, as Randy explained to the next group, when I was here, all this was like a dirt floor, I believe, as well. For the groundbreaking ceremony. Let's look at the inner workings of this heater unit furnace. So just imagine what this area is going to look like in a few short months when this opens up in January. Taking you into the inner workings, areas where you won't see all the mechanicals. Looks like there's gonna be restrooms down here. Yeah, definitely. So these are gonna be restrooms down here, looks like. Restroom area. And then you'll be able to go up toward where the system, to give you a sense of direction. There are the two cisterns that they found here when they were excavating for the convention center here, that you'll be able to see through those portholes that will have glass, and you'll be able to look down into the actual cistern. So again, I'm excited to see this place when it's completed, but right now you can see an inner workings of the place before it's open to the general public. Another room, electrical room. So there's the elevator, so it's going to be ADA accessible, and then we're going to be right back up.
Sometimes see you at the voting place, but I don't really get enough today.
Hi.
Do you have any questions? You've been wandering around all night.
No, I was here for the actual groundbreaking.
Yeah. You walk this way, and that is a rendering of more or less what this space will look like, introducing you to some of the abolitionists who fought for the end of slavery in the 19th century. And then you'll go you'll go sort of, did you already walk around this way? Yeah. So this whole sort of path will basically take you through the history of Lancaster and of abolition. It'll start here with slavery in Pennsylvania and the Gradual Abolition Act and some of the Underground Railroad activity that happened here. That next gallery that cuts sort of diagonally, that'll cover the Christiana resistance. Then there'll be an immersive gallery where, but it's all media based. There'll be some media on all three sides, and you'll experience sort of in a more emotive context some of these histories. Then you'll come through the Civil War and Reconstruction in that last gallery sort of here. And then when you come down to this final level, this is what we call the modern exhibit level. So you can see a rendering of that here. It'll have these 3 slits dedicated to the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution. And that gallery will really allow us to explore the legacies of Reconstruction. So these galleries all, tie Stevens and Smith in some way into what's going on to abolish slavery and then to begin to address slavery. And then in here we'll talk about, what does this mean for us today? What has this meant over the course of 150 years since the passage of
And so now we're gonna head back upstairs, and then we're gonna. This has, as he's explained, 5 floors. The 5th floor being where the offices are gonna be at. But so glad to see they have made a lot of great progress since I was here in May. Apparently, actually, was I here? No. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, we were here before, so you can see where there's going to be a manhole right here. So when I was last here, all this was open. It was not separated like this. So you can see. And of course, when I did that first tour, it was daylight, but it is now the evening. And I was supposed to be here a little bit earlier. Sorry for the background noise here. And they have the windows, some of the windows covered up. Ah, that's why. Oh wow. Now this is a little room. And when I was here the last time, I believe you could look straight up and down right through here, if I remember correctly. Did I come in that way? So yeah, this was a lot more open. You can see now the separations. And the inner workings, yeah, definitely. I could see all that before. So you get a sense of the scale of the place as well. There's a pathway up this way too. So we're gonna go up back this way again. And now head up stairs up this way and look up more up this way. So I believe this is now the what would be the 5th floor and the office areas for the center here. Oh yeah, they've definitely enclosed from the last tour. All that over there was open. So there's your elevator, and yep, this is the final floor. And now we're going to go back down to the next floor again.
Yeah, John at the door, I guess.
See what this one. I think we were. Yes, we were already here. Yep. So we're gonna head back downstairs. So we were already downstairs looking around. I think this is going to be temporary. This is going to be all open. That's part of the convention center over there. As you can see, also the extra give is going on as well today. It's a 24-hour event for right now. It's 444 local nonprofits. Gotta get a picture of this one. So it is nighttime, but when I did the last tour, it was during the daytime, back in May, when they did the original groundbreaking. So as you can see, it's right here as part of the Lancaster Convention Center, but the entrance for the center, I believe it's going to be right in here, where this, I think it's going to be right in here where this big door is at. And it shows you the protective equipment you can be wearing as a construction worker. So we're looking, you can see up into the lights are on upstairs, and some of the construction equipment on the outside. When I was last here, this was cordoned off.
Oh, is it cordoned off?
No, I'm explaining. This was cordoned off right before. It's still partly cordoned off, as you can see here, where you can see the exterior of the Thaddeus Stevens and Lydia Hamilton Smith Center for History and Democracy. What it's going to look like when it's completed, I might have to give you an external shot. So this was the actual brewery side of the, as they explained. And this right here, it's hard to see it, but right here there's a placard. We're giving you information about Thaddeus Stevens. This was his home, and his law practice was here as well. So you can also go in through there as well, but most of the people have been going around through the Vine Street entrance. I don't know if this is going to be made available when it opens, this entrance. Probably not, but I could be wrong. But I'll show you that that placard and information about Thaddeus. It's hard to see it at nighttime. So he was born in 1792 and died in 1868. And he is buried not too far from here, up Mulberry and Mulberry and Chestnut. Can't remember the name of the cemetery where he's at, but this gives you an external look of what it looks like now. And this looked totally different the last time I was here. They had, I think, some glass panels here the last time I was here for the groundbreaking. They had some temporary glass panels going across in here. Great to see history being kept, and it'll bring even more traffic to the Lancaster city area as well once this center opens. And as you saw inside, we have a great tie-in to, this has a great tie-in to the Christiana riots as well, or the uprising as they call it. So I hope you enjoyed this tour update of what the Thaddeus Stevens and Lydia Hamilton Smith Center for History and Democracy is going to look like. Hopefully I'll be able to, no, hopefully I will be here for the grand opening this coming January of 2025, which is just 2 mere months away. We are now in December, almost the end of December here, and we'll get a look, first-hand look at what we've seen in these renderings and what the actual place looks like when it's finished. So I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I hope to see you back here in 2025. So with that, if you like this type of content, please consider like, comment, sharing, and subscribing. And as always, go create your own adventure, and I'll see you at the next location.